Eric Holder, the Deputy Attorney General, who somehow approved the Mark Rich pardon back during 2000 at the waning days of the Clinton administration. There was some questionable judgment on who he picked to do the vetting, and then when one of them got in trouble, on one day he's ready to stand by him, the next day he says, you know, that's it, the guy's got to go. So the question is, what kind of, are we learning anything about what kind of administration is he going to run? How quickly will he stand by these folks? How well is he going to vet? Granted, these are all sort of learning curve mistakes, and this is stuff that McCain is going to jump on him on. McCain has already been jumping on Obama for the use of Eric Holder.
Yeah, we've had a panelist on this show a couple of weeks ago, Jeffrey Goldberg, who said, look,
Mr. Holder recommended the pardoning of
we're watching McCain talk about Eric Holder here, but Chuck, you know, we know that a couple of weeks ago, Jeffrey Goldberg on this program made the point that McCain had trouble with lobbyists. He dealt with it a few weeks ago, a long time before the spotlight was really on the process at this stage.
Well, and the bigger problem that Obama has is he is setting some guidelines when it comes to who he's going to put in the administration. Forget the VP vetting process. He is setting some guidelines about lobbyists and about what they've done in their private business lives that he may not be able to put certain people in office. He may not be able to appoint certain people, and it could be a government by academics. He is, you know, there's one thing when you live by this rhetoric. This is how Jimmy Carter got in deep trouble in those first few years of his administration, and frankly, it's what made the first year of Bill Clinton's transition very chaotic.
All right, Michelle, you're looking at an opportunity here for McCain to go after some Hillary Clinton supporters. How's he doing it?
Absolutely, David. My headline tonight is that Carly opens the door to Senator Clinton on behalf of Senator McCain. We are in full general election mode tonight, and the race for the women's vote, meaning i.e. Hillary Clinton supporters, is on. Senator McCain, I would say it is no mistake that he is in New Hampshire today, the state where Senator Clinton first found her voice. To help him out, Senator McCain has enlisted the powerhouse CEO, Carly Fiorina, to help him out. And Carly is reaching out to Senator Clinton's supporters through the Women's Fair Vote website. Let's take a look at this clip.
As a woman, I take great pride in the fact that Hillary Clinton ran for president. And I also watched with a lot of empathy as I saw how she was scrutinized, characterized, talked about as a woman.
And, you know, David, this is just the beginning of Carly. This is a very important and I think very strategic move for Senator McCain to make. Carly Fiorina is not your typical stereotype of a Republican or of a conservative. She really almost matches Senator Clinton tit for tat in terms of achievements and accomplishments. And the smart Republican is going to go after the women's vote right in Senator Clinton's camp.
Well, she faced a lot of scrutiny, too, at the end of her tenure at HP. Okay, thanks very much. Rachel, your headline tonight.
My headline tonight is that John McCain won't blow the whistle on slime. This week saw the emergence of a nasty, over-the-top internet ad asserting that Barack Obama can't be trusted when he says he isn't a Muslim. This is obviously not from the Republican Party. It is not from John McCain's campaign. It is an outside group. In fact, it's being headed up by Floyd Brown of the Willie Horton ad fame. John McCain was asked about this by the Boston Herald today, asked about these sort of nasty ads by outside groups, and his response, unlike previous election cycles where he said that he has denounced things like this, in this case he said, I can't be a referee of every spot run on television. He's deciding to stay on the sidelines of this, to not denounce the content of ads like this, even though he will be the beneficiary of it. As the guy who was hit with the John McCain has a black baby tactic running against George W. Bush for the Republican nomination in 2000, I think it's a surprising sidestep from McCain, and we'll have to look if it stands up.
All right, John Hartward, you're looking at the economy again and what it says in our new poll.
David, my headline is Economic Storm Clouds. The new NBC Wall Street Journal poll documents just how gloomy Americans have grown about the economy. That's bad news for John McCain. 4 years ago, twice as many Americans thought the economy would be getting better than getting worse. Optimism that helped Republican incumbent George W. Bush win a second term. But now twice as many people think the economy is getting worse. The pessimists favor Barack Obama. That's good news for him. Now, John McCain does well among the optimists, but they're only 1 in 5 voters, which means all the more important, David, for John McCain to come up with an economic turnaround message that can sell.
All right, the issue is change, and the issue could very well be the economy as tops. That's in our poll as well. We're going to take a break here, come back, go inside those numbers from the new poll from NBC News and the Wall Street Journal, looking at President Bush's approval ratings, low approval ratings. What does it mean for John McCain, the two of them at the White House a few months ago? We come back on The Race after this. We are back on The Race and going inside the war room now, taking a look at these latest numbers from the NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. And our panelists are back tonight: Michelle Bernard, Rachel Maddow, Chuck Todd, and John Harwood. Okay, topic number one, the president's job approval ratings. How low can they go? It continues to be a slide. You look at the numbers, we put it up on the screen. Bush's job approval rating at this stage, 28% approval, disapproval, 66%. And you look at kind of a tangent to that, or a corollary to that, is who will bring real change to the country. The follow-up on that, and the result, 48% say Obama, 21% say McCain. Peter Hart, one of our pollsters, says this: the 200-pound ball and chain around McCain's foot is George W. Bush. Chuck Todd.
Absolutely, it is. It is stunning. It is Nixonian levels for Bush. His approval rating keeps getting lower. Even in the last year of his presidency and previous two-year presidents leaving on their second term, you started to see some sort of forgiveness in the public as they sort of are looking ahead. And instead, his personal rating is down. His professional rating is down. It's bad. The combination is just lethal. When you look back, Bill Clinton, at least there was a split decision for Al Gore to run on. His personal rating was bad, but the professional rating was good. With Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush had both. People liked Reagan and started feeling good again about the job that he did. And what happened? He won re-election. This is stuff that makes the task for John McCain very, very difficult.
Well, and we know Ron Braunstein, John Harwood, Ron Braunstein has done this analysis, Braunstein has, where he talks about the fact that it is so difficult if you have a very unpopular president for the other party, or rather for a candidate of the same party, to stay in office a third term.
Exactly. I was at a conference a couple of months ago, David, with a top Republican strategist who used to work for George Bush, who said critical for Republicans to get George Bush up to 40% job approval this year. If he's below 40%, extremely tough for the Republican nominee to win. And look where George Bush is. He's falling below 30%. This is a very, very tough situation for John McCain.
Okay, let me move on to topic number two here. The question of voter enthusiasm. This is going to be a big one. Look at some of the numbers here in terms of Obama and McCain voters and why they're voting. What's the real impetus for them to vote? You look at the numbers here. Those voting for McCain, 38% is because it's for John McCain. 36% say they're voting against Barack Obama. Flip it around. Look at the Obama voter. Would you say your vote is for Obama? 50%, against McCain, 7%. Rachel, what does it tell you?
This is like the key that unlocks the election prospects for John McCain. That's exactly what he needs to know. He needs to make himself the devil you know and make Obama the devil you don't. He's got to run. If he runs an election that is about John McCain, that is not a winning strategy for John McCain to get to the White House. If he can make this a referendum on Barack Obama, make Obama seem like a scary devil you don't know, change of the wrong kind of election. If you can make it a referendum on Obama, McCain very well could win.
Wow.
But we also know, Michelle, that it's a measure.
Slash and burn.
Yeah, well, how else does he win? If you've got 7% of Obama voters who are voting against McCain, but you've got it even with McCain voters in terms of how many of them are voting against Obama, that's his growth potential. That's how he gets there.
Here's the question, Michelle, about the time spent so far for John McCain. While the Democrats were fighting, he was able to set up his score for the general election. How did he use that month head start? Look at the numbers in terms of his favorable and unfavorable ratings. They're not very good. In June, his favorable rating is 39%, down 10 points since March. His unfavorable rating now at 34%. In March, it was 27%. What has happened here?
Well, it's interesting, David, because if you look at these numbers, they track very closely to several Republican strategists that I've talked to and asked this exact question. Has John McCain used the time the end of the Democratic primary process effectively, and these numbers are showing that he most definitely has not. What we've seen today, for example, with Carly Fiorina and the rest of the McCain campaign going headstrong for women voters, probably should have started a long time ago. Really going out and building coalitions, doing voter outreach, raising as much money as possible, and getting his message of change across, not only to Republicans who are disaffected and a lot of people who don't feel that he's necessarily their candidate, but also reaching out to